Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the OChakDe show. I'm your host, Sachin Syal, and I'm a 16-year-old award-winning entrepreneur from the Bay Area. I'm the co-founder and CEO of 3doshas.com. We're an Ayurvedic wellness and lifestyle company. If you're new here, this is a talk show or podcast where I interview entrepreneurs and inspiring individuals from all walks of life so we can learn from their stories and level up ourselves. The purpose of the show is to inspire you to go for it, which is what OChakDe means. We have a co-host today, my brother, Suraj Jagan. He's currently a student at UCLA who's a huge Bollywood fan and has a keen interest in many different genres of Indian music. Today's special guest is Suraj. Our co-host Sujay will tell you some more about him.
Thank you, Sachin. Suraj Jagan is a Bollywood playback singer, songwriter, writer, actor, and a rock star. He's noted for his most famous song, Give Me Some Sunshine, which was in the movie Three Idiots, for which he won the award Best Emerging Male Performer at the Max Stardust Award ceremony. He also sang Dil Dhadakne Do for Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara, as well as many other Bollywood songs, and was also invited as a TEDx speaker. So Suraj, we're very, very excited to interview you today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Let's just start with the first question. So you began your singing career working in ad jingles. Can you tell us some more about what ad jingles are and how you got started?
Actually, it goes way before that. I didn't start singing for ad jingles. It started out with me sitting with some musician friends and just spontaneously singing something, and they liked my singing, and they got me into their band. So that's my first time on stage was with a rock band at a rock show. I'd never gone on stage before, not even in school or college or anywhere. And so that was my first experience singing with a band. And that went on for quite a few years. And later on, a lot of those musicians who were in various rock bands, they got into the ad world, the advertisement world, where they were doing music for various ads. And when they required a singer, that's how I started getting into the jingle scene, the ad jingles. So I never really went out trying to get into that industry as such. And even the film industry, I never really thought I fit in that industry because I was not trained as a singer. So I always thought that you need to be trained to be able to sing those songs. So I never thought that I had a place in Hindi film music or even studio, I mean, even ad jingles for that matter. But things just worked out that way for me.
Awesome. So you made your Bollywood debut in 1997. Can you tell us what it was like transitioning into Bollywood? What was the process?
When I get called for a recording, it's just another recording. It doesn't matter whether it is a film song or an ad jingle. So my first film song was by Vishal Shekhar, and it was their first movie. And so Vishal and I go way back. He also had a rock band, and we knew each other from way before. So when he did his first movie, he called me for one of the songs which three of us sang. It was not a solo song of mine, and it didn't really become a hit. There was another song that became a huge hit in that movie. But that was my first film recording experience. But for me, it was just another recording anyway. I mean, go to the studio, sing a song, get out. So it was nothing different as such. But when the movie comes out and your name comes over there, then that's what makes the difference. I mean, after the process as such is pretty much the same.
Awesome. So, I mean, here's the thing. Like, when we go on YouTube right now, especially looking at Hindi singers, there's sort of two main communities of singers. There are singers who are covering famous Bollywood songs with hopes of being a playback singer. And then now there's even more like independent artists working.
Right.
Like you have like Arman Malik's, Zayden's, Diljit Dosanjh's coming out with their own independent music, which is like completely separate from film music. And I
Yeah.
think, Suraj, that's what makes your story so unique, because you've sort of lived, like you were part of this band and you also have exposure in film music. And so and again, it's so many talented people in music in general. What advice do you have for like the new generation of singers and musicians on how they can stand out and really market themselves?
I'm the wrong guy to ask for that kind of advice, because first of all, it's very different from when I started out. We didn't have. I think the internet was there, but I don't like. There was no YouTube or any social media stuff happening at that time. So it was pretty much word of mouth, and gets around, and that's how you've gotten further. But now the pressure is so much and the competition is so much, and the exposure is so much that I'm sure it must be very difficult for newcomers to get in, even if they're very talented. Uh, so I really don't know what's happening in the music industry, especially the film industry, because I've never really been that connected to it. I mean, even when I was doing a lot of film songs, I was not really um uh, you know I didn't belong to any clique or anything like that. Uh, so it's a little difficult for me to advise youngsters right now, because it's a whole different ball game. The world is completely changed from when I started out. So it's a tough one for me to. I mean, I don't want to steer anyone the wrong way, because for me, I was very lucky to be able to get this far. Just I just followed my passion. I just loved singing, so I just went with that. But I don't know whether that works, because in today's time there are a lot of people following their passion, but getting into an industry like the Hindi film industry is it must be really tough right now. So it's difficult for me to advise anybody right now.
Got it. Okay. Well, we can move on to the next question. So you're also a songwriter. Let's talk about like what the creative process is like when you're writing a song, because I know a lot of people are interested. Like, how do these people get the ideas to write a song? Like, how do you do it?
See, ideas, any idea, when you get an idea, it just pops in your mind. It's not like something you can conjure up. So at least where songwriting is concerned. As I said, I'm not a educated musician, so yeah, I know a few chords, and some of them I don't even know what they are. The chords, I just place the fingers on the guitar, and if it sounds good, I go with it, make combinations, and I make songs like that. So what was the question again? I forgot.
Oh, it was, what's your creative process when writing a song?
Yeah, so it's inspiration. I mean, and anything can inspire me. I'd be sitting somewhere sometimes, just sometimes doing nothing. Sometimes I might be with my dogs, or it could be anything that could trigger something. Or I could be watching a movie. It just lines just starts popping in your mind, and then I sit down and start writing it. And once I have my lyrics, then I sit with my guitar and try and come up with some melody. Or many times it's the other way around. Sometimes I'm driving, and when I'm driving, I get a melody in my head. So I try and record it as soon as possible. So when the idea comes, if you don't do it right there and then, it's sometimes when I'm just about to sleep, I get some ideas, and I think like like I'm so sleepy that I'll remember this when I wake up, but it goes off. So it's so important to record it right there, and then work on the idea later. So it's it's nothing complicated. There's no like a real process in that sense. But I just, as and when I get ideas and I get inspired, I write down stuff. And there are times when I've written 5 songs in a matter of 2 hours or 3 hours. And there have been times when I've not gotten anything for months. And you can't really force it. When I've tried to force it, it never really happens. You know, the whole thing sounds forced. So I just leave it. I mean, when it happens, it happens.
I think that's great. I think just the fact that, you know, your songwriting process is so spontaneous and authentic, you know, is what really, like, I mean, and this is going to be controversial. This is going to be controversial maybe in like the playback singing community. You know, most people, just like you said, they assume that you need to be, you know, highly trained in Indian Hindustani classical or Carnatic classical, have a proper guru. That's like the traditional path, right, to becoming a playback singer. But then there are some people who, you know, just have raw talent and passion for their music, and spontaneity is really what drives the songs that they're able to create. And so, I mean, I think that's wonderful, honestly, that
Also,
you know.
Sorry, I just want to add one more thing. You know, you can have all the training that you know you can get, and you can you might be very talented and might have a very good voice and everything, but if you don't really love that aspect of yourself and believe in that aspect of yourself, it might take a long time. Because I've seen a lot of very talented singers and musicians in the studios doing backup vocals for me, you know, who's an untrained guy. Like I've sung for Ilaiyaraaja, you know, who's in the South, he's a legend. And the backup singers that used to come and sing were people who were highly trained, you know. And I used to look up to their singing. When I used to see them sing, I used to, you know, for me, it used to be amazing the way they used to sing, because I know they can sing way better than me. But somehow I'm the lead singer and they are the backup singers, you know. So, I mean, it doesn't always happen like that, but there have been instances where, you know, you can end up being a backup singer forever. I've seen that happening in Bombay, where very good trained singers, they just get this label of being a backup singer, and they just remain backup singers, and then they're teaching others singers and things like that. So it also depends on your self-concept as to, you know, how you see yourself. If you see yourself as somebody, you know, who can do this, it happens no matter what. I mean, even if you're not so talented. So I've seen that happening a lot. You know, people like, you know, you think like this guy can't go anywhere, and suddenly you see like he's gone everywhere. You can see him everywhere. So that happens a lot. I mean, everywhere. It's not something new. It happens everywhere.
So would you say this is more about like how you perceive yourself? Because like what really helps someone transition from a backup singer to like a lead singer, for example? Is it just networking, or how exactly does that work?
See, all that helps. I mean, but I've never done all that. That's the thing. So I got into the industry as a lead singer. I've never done backup singing. So it's not something that you have to do to get somewhere. That's why I said it's very difficult for me to advise any youngsters now, because the way things happened for me was not planned at all. I have friends, musicians, who used to do a lot of networking. I know singers who do a lot of networking, and they get these small bit parts in songs, you know. So, and also there are others also who do a lot of networking and get way ahead. So there's no hard and fast rule as to how, you know, just because one guy made it doing all those things, it doesn't mean that, you know, the other guy can do the same thing and get somewhere. But one thing matters, you know, like for me, I just wanted to sing. I wanted to sing in a band, and that's all I wanted to do. I was not really bothered about getting into recordings and things like that. For me, it was all about the band. And I'm still like that. I still prefer being with a band, because that's what makes me feel good. So that's what I've done all my life, and everything else has just happened because of that one decision I made, just wanting to be in a band.
Mm-hmm. See, Suraj, your story is very interesting because it seems like you almost weren't super focused on getting into film songs.
Not
I
at all.
noticed a theme. Yeah, and I noticed a theme and pattern in all of, or at least in some of the films you worked on, which I find very interesting. I mean, you have some music in Patiala House, Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara, Three Idiots. These movies, like when they came out, they were game changers for Bollywood. And some of these movies, they tackle like social issues or everyday pressures that people face.
Right.
Did you as an artist have some sort of connection to these films that made you work in these films? Is that why
no.
maybe?
No, you don't have. I mean, as a singer, you don't have that kind of, you don't even, when you, like, for instance, there are songs that I've sung, even the Three Idiots song, when I went to sing that song, I didn't even know the name of the movie. And the script wasn't completed. So, like I said, for me, it was just another job. So I did the song, and I forgot about it. In fact, I forget about the song by the time I'm home, because I'm listening to some music while I'm driving back home. And by the time I get home, my wife asks me, what did you sing and what was the movie? And I've forgotten everything. So it's not because like I don't care. For me, I'm not that attached to that whole scene. Like if it was a band, I would know every little thing about the whole thing that happened. But for the film thing, I was not really attached. For me, I enjoyed the process, no doubt. I love going to the studio and recording and being with all those people, because you're creating something new, and I'm a small part of that new creation. I love that feeling, when I'm able to do something for something that's been created, something new that's been created, no matter how the song is, whether it's a great song or whether it's a lousy song, it doesn't matter. The process I love in the studio. But that's about it. Once that's done, I'm out of there, and I've forgotten it. Somehow it just goes off my mind. Very rarely I remember the songs that I've sung by the time I'm home, because it's a long drive back home. So by the time I'm home, I'm listening to some Pantera or some shit like that. Like by the time I'm home, I've forgotten everything. So, so yeah. What was the question again? I forgot. Sorry, it just drifted into my own rant.
No. I understand that. It's actually, I'm very shocked and actually surprised that when you were called in for Give Me Some Sunshine, they didn't show you the script or tell you anything about the film.
No, they don't. They don't. Singers don't get to.
That's very interesting.
Singers don't. You know how it goes. When I'm called for a recording, I mean, it's all for all the singers and musicians who are involved in the film industry. You get to go to the studio. They call you at whatever time. You get there. You learn the song and the lyrics and everything and the melody and everything. You get about maybe an hour to 2 hours to, depending on the song. If it's difficult, it will take a little more time. But it's generally within 2 hours, you got to learn the song and then go and record. And that's it. There's nothing about the song, So there have been times where I've sung the entire song and then I'm kind of getting the feeling of the song, and then if it's like Shankar Mahadevan or, Shankar Ehsan Loy, they let me do another take. But many times, I know I can do a better take because the song is just sunk in. I've been with the song for just about 2 hours and now I'm getting the song. But many times the music directors say no, we've got it. You don't worry, it's done. So that's how much we know about what's happening. Forget about the script. We don't even know what the song is. When you go to record. So it's ideally it would be great to know the story and know the backdrop of the song and everything. You can do a much better performance when you know a little background. But no, it doesn't happen.
That's interesting because, for actors at least, I've heard crazy stories about actors getting into character. Like they've locked themselves up in their rooms for 3 days to get into character. They know the entire storyline. But it seems interesting. It seems like in the film world, for singers especially, it's quite transactional. You don't really have like a connection to the song. It's more like you just go in the studio, record, and leave. But yeah, that's a new thing that I learned, which I was completely unaware of. So thank you for that.
Yeah, that's how it happens over here.
Cool, I got it. Let's go to the next question. What's your biggest takeaway from your TEDx talk that you'd like to share with our audience?
Oh God, that for me, it was something so out of the box for me to do. I mean, there are things that I've done, including my singing career, the way jumping into the deep end without knowing anything. And this was one of those things. And I'm not really like, I can talk one-on-one, like how we are doing this, but you put me on stage and, if I have to talk to a bunch of people, it's not an easy thing for me to do at all, because like I was growing up, I was always a very timid and shy person. So I was never really good at talking to even 5 people. So this opportunity came up and I said, okay, let's go. I mean, it was a scary thing for me to do, but I just did it just to see if I can do it. So I've not done anything like that since then. I mean, I'm not going to go out of my way to make myself feel uncomfortable, but if it comes my way, I'll do it. But yeah, it was. My message was, for me, I just started seeing this word hate. It's become so common nowadays. Haters and hate. Growing up, that was not a word that haters was not a word that was like commonly used, and that was the point that I was trying to make, about self-love and things like that, there's too much of negativity going out towards others just because I feel people are not really happy with themselves. I mean, there's no self-acceptance. So self-acceptance is the first thing. I mean, this is the journey that I went through. So that's what I try to convey in however I could in that. So you said take away from the thing. Don't know, man. I mean, I don't really think so much about what happens later.
Okay, well, we can move on to the next question. These are the last 2 questions that I asked all my guests as we wrap up here. The first one is, what is your best advice for teens in general? Not even related to music, just your best advice for teens in general.
There's one thing that I had read somewhere, or someone told me this long back, about the choices that we make in life. Every time you're at a crossroad, or for that matter, if you want to make a choice, whenever that you're at that point, you got to ask yourself whether you're making that decision based on fear or love. And many times you'll see people make decisions out of desperation, and it's all connected to fear, and that in the long run always leads to a lot of struggle in life. I mean, you might get where you want to, but it's going to be a haywire kind of a path internally. You've got to deal with a lot of stuff inside, and I guess that's where all this hate and things coming out in social media is, because of a lot of frustration. So, and especially now for the young teenagers, growing up must be very difficult because of social media again, constantly having to battle with people talking all kinds of shit about you. You don't even know yourself growing up, and you're not even getting a chance to know yourself. So I guess, when you're it might sound like, lovey-dovey or, airy-fairy, whatever you call it. But when you start moving towards what you love, things connected to love, in the sense, it's not romantic love I'm talking about, but in general, like stuff, passion, what you're passionate about, that's just, you love something, that when you connect with that energy, it'll take you places, it'll give you the right opportunities. That's what's happened to me. I mean, these are things which I didn't plan. Even acting in a movie was never in my wildest dreams, but I just followed what I love doing. And it's that gave me the right opportunities, the right kind of songs. So I guess that would be my advice. I mean, it doesn't matter which era you come from. It works no matter what. Whether you're a teenager now or you're a 70-year-old guy, doesn't really matter. It still works.
Nice. I love it. Okay, well, last question of the day. What was your favorite part of being on this show?
Favorite part, my God. It was nice talking. I mean, it felt comfortable. I mean, I'm not very easy with interviews, but you guys were really, the questions you all were asking was made it easy for me to talk, because sometimes I get stumped by some of the questions people ask me, whether they're young or old. Sometimes it's, I get tongue tied and there's no words come out. So it was very nice. I mean, like, how come, I just want to ask you, how come you thought of me suddenly? I mean, like, I'm not really that active on social media. I was quite shocked, actually.
I mean, I've when I look at the credits and the songs, I always see your names, and I'm trying to interview more playback singers, and I love your songs. So I'm like, let me reach out. And then you guys said yes, and then we just did it, and it happened.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, nice. It was nice talking to you.
Thank you. Well, guys, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time.